Hello, it's IELTS with me tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to use high and useful essential vocabularies for both writing and speaking tasks. And in this module, in this lesson, we'll focus on topic 5, which is regarding culture, art, and tradition, and sample vocabulary and sentences for this specific module. Okay. Actually, the culture, art, and traditions topic includes human folklore, ceremonies and rituals, myth and legends, social customs, traditional language, dress and arts, and the impact of modern life on traditional lifestyles and differences in national habits. Let's go on. Remember that IELTS will not ask specifically about religion, politics, or spiritual beliefs. Okay, you should not base your answer in the writing as well as speaking tests on your personal beliefs in these areas. For instance, if the task asks whether you agree with a certain idea, you would get a low mark if you say yes because my religion agrees with it, or because my president has this policy or similar, okay? You can certainly use religious or political situations as evidence or examples to support an argument, but not as the starting point. For example, we should give money to charity because it benefits society, as we can see, for example, in countries where religious observance requires people to do this regularly. This is a more logical and academic way to respond, okay? Don't forget this. Now we can continue. Here we have explanation of every topic related vocabulary and as well as its examples, which we will use in speaking and writing, okay? Writing task 2. To preserve, to protect and keep something, usually because it's valuable for some reason. Our sentence is, the state preserved ancient buildings because they are part of our heritage. Rituals, highly traditional ceremonies which have meaning for participants. For example, in some countries, wedding rituals continue for several days. For example, in India, right? Parades, organized, pay attention to its spelling, organized processions in public by a group of people usually to commemorate an event. In my hometown, we have a military parade each year to mark our Independence Day. It's important. To transmit, to communicate a message, literal or symbolic. The monarchy transmit symbols of power through dress and ritual. A great sample, right? The monarchy transmit, convey, okay, symbols of power through dress and ritual. Social memes, social habits or patterns which are transmitted between people. For example, in Great Britain, punctuality is a social meme, okay? Being punctual, being on time. Public duty, the willingness to serve the public or the state. For example, civil servants needs a sense of public duty. Self-sacrifice, the willingness to suffer or die for a cause. We remember the self-sacrifice of our wartime generation each year. Okay, let's go on. Cultural traditions. Traditions carrying cultural importance. For example, hospitality is a great cultural tradition in Mediterranean countries, such as Greek, Turkey, and so on. Mythology or myth, a classic story from the past which people know is not true but which carries meaning, right? For example, there are old myths about gigantic animals in my part of countryside. To evoke, important, to bring back memories or feelings. Our national flag evokes strong emotions whenever we see it and we respect it. Medieval, adjective for the Middle Ages, roughly 1050 to 1400s in European history. For example, France has some superb medieval architecture which I saw on my gap year. What is gap year, you know? Ceremonies. A ceremony is similar to ritual, usually involving people in authority. Ceremony, ritual, they are synonym, right? The government enters office with a long ceremony at the presidential place. Cultural norms, standards expected of behavior or ideas. In some countries, marriage between cousins is a cultural norm. In some countries, marriage between cousins actually banned, and it's not any kind of norm, right? For example, in Azerbaijan, right? The fabric of society, very important phrase, the way that society is connected and maintained, right? For example, drugs and crime are damaging the fabric of society, right? It's important, try to use it. To conserve, its synonym is to preserve. Conservation of old treasures is the main role of our city museums. For example, what is the advantage of a museum, right? To hand something down from one generation to the next generation, to pass it from parents to children and to their children, and etc. For example, cultural values have been handed down for hundreds of years, but now they are starting to disappear. For example, so many languages, right? Heritage, something inherited, means received or handed down by one generation from the previous generation, right? Our countryside is part of our national heritage and we should preserve it carefully. Legends, similar to myth, right? But something containing an element of reality. It's differences, right? Robin Hood is a British legend, although most historians agree the character is based on a real person. Folklore, old stories and myth legends usually transmitted verbally. African folklore is rich in stories of gods and monsters. Inheritance, a synonym for heritage. Our greatest inheritance is as a nation is our independence and fighting spirit. Great. Fine art, art by famous and acclaimed painters. Florence in Italy is a key destination for lovers of fine art. Handicrafts, skills of making objects by hand and also the objects themselves. Many indigenous people, native people, make a living by selling handicrafts to tourists. Indigenous has high frequency, okay? Try to learn it and use it. Opera, a very formal play with a musical score. La Scala is the name of a famous opera venue in Italy, which I'd like to visit. I hope so. Shanties and dirges, very traditional songs about basic subjects. For example, children sometimes think shanties at primary school. Linguistic, the adjective meaning about language, related to language. Linguistic skills are essential, are necessary for a tour guide in the modern economy. Media, a way of communicating folklore, is a very effective media for transmitting our cultural heritage. Pay attention that the phrase the media is used to mean all the newspapers, broadcasters, websites, magazines, commenting on issues in a country, right? The president resigned due to pressure from the media who disliked his policies. What is the difference between media and the media, right? I hope that you got the differences. Okay. I hope that you really enjoyed this lesson. Thanks for watching and see you soon in another IELTS with me tutorial. Be sure that to click subscribe button, ring the bell, and turn on notifications so you're alerted to future content. Take care and bye.